Imagine being a poor orphan from the dusty fields of Texas, defying doctors who said you'd never walk again after a landmine explosion, only to jump from a helicopter into a hellish battlefield surrounded by 1,000 enemy soldiers armed with nothing but a knife and unbreakable will to save your brothers in arms, enduring 37 wounds and being zipped into a body bag while still alive. This isn't Hollywood fiction. It's the true, pulse-pounding saga of Master Sergeant Roy Benavidez, a Medal of Honor hero whose raw courage in Vietnam's jungles redefined heroism for generations. Stick around to uncover how one man's indomitable spirit turned impossible odds into legendary triumph that echoes across America and Europe today.
The wind howled through the cotton fields of South Texas, carrying the scent of earth and sweat. It was 1940, and little Roy Benavidez, barely 5, clutched his mother's skirt as she labored under the relentless sun. Born August 5, 1935, in a humble shack in Lindenau, Roy was the first son of Salvador Benavidez, a sharecropper of Mexican descent, and Guadalupe, a proud Yaqui Indian woman. Their life was one of simple joys overshadowed by hardship. Salvador taught Roy to ride horses and tend crops, whispering tales of their ancestors who founded Benavidez, Texas. But tuberculosis, that silent killer, claimed Salvador when Roy was 2, leaving Guadalupe to raise two boys alone. They moved to Cuero, where Guadalupe cleaned houses for white families, her hands raw from scrub brushes. Roy and Rogelio helped as they could, but in 1942, the disease struck again. Guadalupe's cough grew wet and ragged. She died in agony. Her last words to Roy, "Be strong, mio. The world is cruel, but you are fiercer." Orphaned at 7, the brothers were shuttled to Uncle Nicholas and Alexandria in El Campo. The house was bursting. Grandfather Salvador and 8 cousins shared the space. Meals were meager: beans, tortillas, whatever the land provided. Roy, now called Roy by his peers, learned to fight early. At school, white kids sneered, "Go back to Mexico, pepper belly." Fists flew. Roy gave as good as he got. "I wasn't gonna let them push me around," he'd say years later. Summers meant migration to Colorado for beet picking, a back-breaking trek in rattled trucks. School suffered. By 15, Roy quit to work at Firestone. Art Haddock, the manager, became a father figure. "Boy, you got fire in you. Channel it," Haddock advised, teaching him to fix tires and balance books. The military called in 1952. Korea raged, and the Texas National Guard offered $55 a month riches. Roy enlisted, drilling on weekends. Meeting Audie Murphy was transformative. The diminutive hero, covered in medals, shook his hand. "Serve with honor," Murphy said. Roy did, transitioning to active duty in 1955. Basic training at Fort Ord was hell: push-ups in mud, marches till feet blistered. He changed his name to Roy Heezier for the sergeants. Korea was cold and tense. Patrolling the DMZ, Roy huddled with G is from all backgrounds. We shared warmth, shared stories. "For once, I was just a soldier." Back at Fort Chaffee, he spotted Elvis getting a buzz cut. "Hey, King," Roy joked. Elvis laughed. Then Germany. 11th Airborne in Augsburg. Bar fights were common. One night, Roy decked a loudmouth, earning a transfer to Berlin. The wall loomed. Soviets eyed them across barbed wire. Another brawl, this time with an officer, landed him in court. "Duty, honor, country," Roy quoted, admitting fault. Demoted, he learned restraint.
1959 brought joy: marriage to Lala Coy, his high school sweetheart. "She's my rock," Roy said. They settled at Fort Bragg. Roy earned airborne wings, jumping from C-130S with a hoop. The 82nd was family, but Vietnam beckoned. The crucible of Waroctober 1965. Roy landed in Saigon, the air thick with humidity and diesel. Assigned to advise AF troops, he patrolled jungles where VC lurked in shadows. Australian mentor Dickie taught camouflage: squat, eat rice with fingers, be one with them. Roy adapted, leading raids, dodging ambushes. Then, disaster. On a lone recon, a landmine detonated. Shrapnel ripped his back. He awoke in hospital, legs numb. Paralyzed for life, doctors said. Lala visited, eyes wet. But Roy, fueled by anger at anti-war protests, began secret training. Nights, he'd slide from bed, crawl on elbows, touch the wall, return. Pain is temporary, he muttered. 6 months later, he walked out, doctors stunned. Back to Special Forces. The Q course tested limits, rucksack marches, swamp survival, halo jumps. Graduated, green beret on head, Roy felt invincible. January 1968. Second tour, B-56 Detachment, MACV SOG. Covered OPS into enemy territory. Tango Mike, comrades teased for his fierce demeanor. Training was intense, Maguire rig drills, where men dangled from ropes under choppers. May 2, 1968, the day that defined him. At LOC Ninch FOB, Roy attended mass. Radio burst, team down. Surrounded by NVA battalion. The 12-man team SGT. Leroy Wright, 2 other berets, 9 Montagnards faced 1,000 enemies. 3 choppers tried extraction, shot to pieces. Roy grabbed medbag and knife, boarded McKibben's Huey. "Let's get him," he said. Over the sight, gunfire erupted. "Drop me close," Roy yelled. Jumping from 30 feet, he hit ground running. Bullets zipped, one grazed his leg, another his face, head. Blood blinded one eye, but he reached the team. Carnage, Wright dead, others wounded. "Who's in charge?" Roy shouted. "You are now," a Montagnard gasped. Roy organized, perimeter, fire that way. He bandaged wounds, passed ammo, radioed, bring him in. Smoke grenades popped, chopper landed. Roy carried a man, firing AK. Shrapnel hit back, abdomen, loaded him, back for more. NVA charged, bayonet thrust into his gut. Roy pulled it out, stabbed back. "Die, you bastard!" Clubbed with rifles, head split, arms fractured. He killed 2 more in melee. Pilot down, chopper crashed. Roy dragged survivors out, formed defense. "Hold on, boys." Airstrikes hammered enemies. Another bird came. Roy ferried men, killed rushing NVA. Secured DOCs, destroyed gear. Last aboard, he collapsed. 6 hours, 37 wounds. Body bag zipped, Roy spat. Alive. Legacy of a legend hospital, months of surgeries. DSC awarded, but most stalled. Retired 1976, Roy advocated for vets. 1981, O'Connor's testimony unlocked it. Reagan, unbelievable heroism. Roy spoke globally, stay in school. Books, films immortalized him. Died 1998, but his spirit lives ships, museums, stories.